Have I ever mentioned that one of my favorite animals of all time is GEOSTERNBERGIA? Which is funny because it doesn't even 100% exist. Whether you call this thing GEOSTERNBERGIA or the slightly more accurate Pteranodon sternbergii, I think it's obvious that one of the coolest designs of it was the Lost World Jurassic Park version. Or what would have been the Lost World Jurassic Park version if it made it to the final movie. There's a beautiful painting of what could have been in the making of book, and the question is, does this toy live up to that? Well, we're off to a bad start because the painting clearly has feathers and this toy does not. That's about my only problem design-wise, though. Everything else is good. I love this color scheme. It's amazing how much it conveys that feeling of air, wind, salt, and the sea. The light pastel blue and the cream white are a great contrast. Too much of a contrast here on his shoulder, but everywhere else it's good. Not sure why everywhere else on the figure it's properly faded, except for right here on the very front of him, where your eyes immediately go to. The burnt umber color that starts very dark at the wing and expertly fades into the chest is beautiful. That brown nose is funny, at least. I get that they were going for a sort of worn look, but because it was done with flat brown paint instead of a transparent wash, it really just looks like he's been investigating the Triceratops paddock. In general, the paint on this bird is the word. There's a ton on him. I know it's not a bird, but the only thing I could find to rhyme with reptile was erectile, and that didn't seem right. The amount of paint and its depth and complexity might be trying to make up for just how small he is. It seems like this guy's entire body is equal to one leg of the concavinator. It could also very well be the cost for the rubber wings that also makes him more expensive. I'm not sure. Point is that size-wise he feels much closer to the $14 range than the $21 range. Those rubber wings are pretty nice. The wing bones visibly look a bit thick, but I'm able to turn off the overly critical part of my brain for a minute because I know that's because there's a bendy wire inside. That bendy wire allows this seagull some very expressive poses. You can also bend them to create a very awkward quadrupedal walking pose. Or should I say bipedal pose, because the legs are a bit too short and the arms are a bit too stiff to actually get him walking on all fours. Right here is about the best you're going to get, unfortunately. That head sculpt and subsequent crest are pure gorgeous. The shape of the crest is so unique and memorable. All the sculpting here is very nice and fine with a clear difference in texture between the skin, crest, and beak. It should be mentioned that on the back of this screwball's neck, the paint has all scraped off. It was like this out of the box, and messing with the joints has not helped it any. So, do I love this figure because it's an actually good toy, or simply because it's of one of my favorite animals? That's a really good question that unfortunately we don't have time for today. Thanks for watching. This was Gary the Gremlin signing off on WJAZ. Tune in again next week for more jazz and conversation.